The specialized technique known as combustion bending continues to serve as one of the most destructive forms of bending in Avatar. Throughout the events of The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, we see tons of destruction caused by Combustion Man and P'Li, proving they are extremely threatening. But did you know that there were combustion benders hundreds of years ago that were recently revealed? In the Dawn of Yang Chen novel, we get introduced to the earliest known combustion benders and hints towards their origins. In this video, I'll be going over all 5 known combustion benders and what we know about their origins. Alright, so starting with the OG, Sparky Sparky Boom Man, aka Combustion Man. He was the first introduction of combustion bending in Avatar. He was hired by Zuko to track down Aang and take him out. He tracked Team Avatar across several locations around the world until they landed in the Western Air Temple. Here, Combustion Man causes massive damage to the temple and threatened to knock the entire foundation off of the cliffside. None of the members of Team Avatar can really combat him until Sokka expertly throws his boomerang and strikes him right in the forehead. This causes his combustion bending to misfire and explode right in his face. We don't know too much more about where Combustion Man came from or exactly how he became an assassin and bounty hunter. There was an official Nick.com website about Avatar that described some characters and described his early life, but that page doesn't exist anymore and the information is archived on another website. However, it does describe that he discovered his abilities when he was a young child, but was initially unable to control it and blew off his right arm and leg. As far as if this is considered canon, I honestly have no idea, as obviously the webpage doesn't exist anymore. Next, we have P'Li, who is arguably the most advanced and most deadly combustion bender that we know of. In The Legend of Korra, she was part of the group the Red Lotus led by Zahir, who was also her boyfriend. As part of the Red Lotus, their aim was to rid the world of all governments and end the legacy of the Avatar. She constantly hunted down Korra and took part in overthrowing the government of Ba Sing Se when Zahir killed the Earth Queen. In the end, she was taken out by Su Yin in a battle trying to rescue Korra. Su Yin metal bent her chest armor around P'Li's head right before she sent out an explosion, instantly killing her. P'Li also had the unique ability to curve her blasts before they exploded. This shows that P'Li was much more advanced when it comes to combustion bending compared to the original Combustion Man. For her early life, we know that she showed signs of being a combustion bender during her youth. She was kidnapped at an early age by a warlord who trained her to be an assassin. After several years, Zahir freed her and they fell in love and later joined the Red Lotus. This information comes from one of the Legend of Korra official art books, so this is much safer to say that it's canon in Avatar. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the new combustion benders that were introduced in the Dawn of Yang Chen novel. Now, the necessity for these benders came about from the wealthy merchants living in the Earth Kingdom known as the Shangs, wanting some type of defenses from the leaders of the 4 nations and establish their independence. The people known as the Zongdu were the main leadership figures of the designated cities that handled international trade. Eventually, some of the Zongdus came up with Project Unanimity, which was an attempt to experiment on firebenders in order to create the new technique of combustion bending. Now, we don't know exactly what the experiments consisted of, we just know that 3 people survived and developed combustion bending while the other subjects drowned. The first one was named Thappa. He was known for having the most powerful blasts out of the 3 combustion benders. He could fire off explosions much in the same way we've seen before, but in order to create larger explosions, Thappa would have to focus and take up to 30 deep breaths before firing off the explosion. This was obviously a bit of a weakness, since doing that takes up a lot of time, and it just shows how much the ability has developed over time when you compare it to Combustion Man and P'Li. Also, for Thappa and the others, the ability proved to be very taxing on their bodies, as they would have to consume a lot of food and then rest in order to regain their strength after combustion bending for a while. Next we have Xiao Yun, who is the bender that we probably know the least about. Really not much information is given on him specifically, he was just part of Project Unanimity. Both Thappa and Xiao Yun were taken out by Yang Chen with her ability to remove the air out of a room, causing them to lose consciousness, but not to the point where they would die. We do know that he had a beard, which is pretty cool, I guess. And finally, we have Ying Su. She was not taken out by Yang Chen so quickly like the other two. She instead fought against Yang Chen and her companions. While she didn't have as much strength and power as Thappa, she was able to generate the explosions much quicker compared to the other two benders. She was eventually shot in the chest with an arrow from one of Yang Chen's companions. Yang Chen decided to save her life by healing her with waterbending. After taking out all three benders, Yang Chen took them to remote mountaintops of the Northern Air Temple and attempted to interrogate them on how they developed their abilities. None of them said anything, so it's still sort of a mystery to us. Thappa even treats this time as a vacation, as he knows that Yang Chen and none of the monks will actually physically harm him. The second book in the Dawn of Yang Chen is confirmed to be coming, so hopefully when that releases we will have a better idea of the Combustion Benders' origins. All we really know is that they were experimented on and it involved submerging them in water to the point of drowning. Now, as far as the origins of combustion bending in general, we know that the era of Yang Chen was the earliest known development of the ability. It was the Zhongdu's plan for Project Unanimity that caused them to experiment on firebenders and create the three combustion benders. Again, we still don't know exactly what these experiments entailed, but hopefully we will know more about them in the future. The other explanation for the origins are that some people are just born with a natural inclination towards the ability. We know that Pali was one of these people, as she was eventually trained to use her combustion bending and become an assassin. We could say the same thing about Combustion Man, but again, we are still not 100% sure on his origins and whether or not the source is canon about him developing it in his early life. I'm pretty confident that in a future Avatar Studios project, they will introduce another combustion bender, and hopefully will go into more detail about how they gain their abilities. So that's pretty much it for all 5 known combustion benders in Avatar and their potential origins. This ability is definitely a fan favorite, and it was a huge surprise to revisit the ability and learn more about its origins in the Dawn of Yang Chen novel. I plan on making some videos on the next book for the Dawn of Yang Chen when it comes out, to finish up that story. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks so much for watching.